There might be some others coming in a little. Oh, I will be back just in a second because I need to send the link to somebody else. Somehow I had a wrong link. So wait 1 second. I just remember that I had somebody else. Okay. Okay. Funny, I don't know how that misunderstanding came, but anyway, it's always a trip.
On the website, there's still the old time.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But it's correct, Sylvie. The old time is correct because there's a change in Australia, and we have now it has to start at 10 o'clock in Germany. So
Yeah, but in Australia we haven't had the change yet.
but
Meike, I only got in because Sylvie said you were on in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And that makes it 3 o'clock. But I came in through your website, which gives the time as 7, and it's usually at 4. So it's so confusing.
Yeah, no, it should be also actually, it should be actually 7 o'clock for me because we haven't had our time change. So it would have been right, Geha, with 4 o'clock. Europe has had a time change, but we haven't. We have it this weekend. So from the retreat on, we close it together. But anyway, no problem, huh? Not for us.
No, because it's 3 o'clock here, so I'm still confused. But anyway, I'm going to let it go.
Yeah. Yes, I'm glad you let it go because Western Australia doesn't change ever.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Western Australia is always 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just here where it changes and in Europe. So anyway, here we are. Welcome. And good that Sylvie found a way to communicate because I just had dinner. Bettina.
I didn't have anything but just for fun.
Mm, that's the best. That's the best.
And there's also a lot in the mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Jörn, kannst du mal die Küchentür zumachen? Einmal kurz, einen Moment, ich mache mal kurz den Ton aus, sorry. My son.
Just these tiny little distractions, huh? How they can pull us into discomfort. Just noticing. Can't do anything to us, those little distractions. Nothing. I'm so grateful always when they come, because then just, oh, can't do anything.
I noticed that a habit to grasp that, because that's well known. I have to do something and I have to, and now in sitting with you, I noticed, whoa, where I am.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
slowly it sinks in a little bit.
Yeah.
The body, and then you came and the others, and the field gets a bit bigger and wider.
And all is well, all of a sudden.
Nothing to do.
And nothing to do, nowhere to go. Nothing to change, nothing to fix. Oh, hallelujah. Huh? Hallelujah. Mm. 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 And this savoring these sensations, emotions, movements, frequencies. A miracle to feel. How is it doing that? Sometimes pleasure, sometimes pain. In a split of a second, it's different.
Changing all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Where you really can see it very closely is in babies, huh? It's just, man, screaming like they die and then giggling and happy. Sleeping.
The same here. The same.
Exactly. It hasn't stopped.
No.
No, hasn't stopped. No, it doesn't ever stop. We're just very lucky that we don't give it so much meaning. And sometimes maybe no meaning at all. Just wow. And then having a conversation and having this exchange, it's like clear seeing. Oh, all is well. Alles ist gut. Only, always.
There came the but it has to be more, and but yes.
Yeah, sweet but. It will butt around forever. That's okay. Do we know why? Do we know how? Do we know what? No, not really.
There also came the question
Mm.
between where's this balance point between all is well, nothing to do, and how to go. Because I'm sitting here since a year in not working. It's beautiful. I learn it day by day to enjoy. But where comes the money from? I don't know. How? What should I do? Should I do something?
Yeah.
I don't know what. I don't know what. I have no clue.
Yeah. So when that question gets answered through the mind, yeah, exactly. Then I mean, it can be clear mind, you know, it can be mind where there's no emotional involvement, let's say it like that. It was just, you know, would be nice to make some money, you know, and so what is it actually that wants to happen, let's say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then there is no stress involved, let's say it like that. And then movement can happen.
Yes, stress like I don't have to know.
Exactly, because the truth is you don't.
No, I don't. But there, I noticed in the last 2 weeks, there's an idea, oh yeah, now it can come something new.
Oh,
But
far out. Far out. But that is where did that come from? Where did that come from? Yes, out of the blue. So then when that is in the field, then it's kind of as if antennas are reaching out, and isn't it? It's like, oh, look, no, nothing. Oh, that's interesting. Not really. But oh, it's like it's that reaching out in a healthy way, you know, not
curious.
Curious, exactly. We know when we come into this field, into our field, and that can start to happen, you know, then it can kind of explore. It just does that. Yeah, see, it starts breathing. It does that rather by itself, nearly. It's like, such a beautiful conversation I'm having here. It's like, you know, in the field. So if you're by yourself and an idea comes through, you should do something, you will feel immediately tension, isn't it? See, and that's the difference. One is like, it always comes by itself, but here it's even more obvious. It comes somehow, an impulse comes or it doesn't. Maybe you will never work again. And maybe you will
be beautiful.
Yeah, you know, and maybe, whoa, just your dream occupation comes tomorrow. You know, who knows? Or next, your dream job would come tomorrow. You just don't know. Even if we have an idea, oh, I really don't want to work, you know, because it's not. You just don't want to do stuff that you don't like to do.
Yes, that's the point. I would love to work, because then that's not work, then that's life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it. It's a huge difference. Yeah. So there again, you know, when that impulse comes from within, you can say, or from a place of relaxation. Yeah, from a place of relaxation. Even there, you can find places where it's time for me to work now, even though I would prefer not to, but okay, let me just have a look. Maybe I find something. It's somehow it's time to move. But even that can come from here, you know, from being at ease. Yeah, it's just that when the mind kicks actually only really in when there's pressure. And it's all of a sudden, oh man, I have to go to work again. And you know, da 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 da. That's stressful. But from here, you know, from the all is well, yeah. I was like, okay, I could do this. I could maybe a cleaning job this time, once a week. I make that and that, you know, like whatever. Or maybe a writing job, you know, whatever it is, but it comes from a different place. It comes from a different place. And that makes all the difference. I mean, I think we all could say that. It's, yeah. It's for every human being in this constellation the same. When it comes from, oh, here I am, and let's see where it pulls me. See, the joy comes and it's free and it doesn't know, it's open, it's available.
Yes.
Yeah. In the moment there's pressure for whatever reason, wow, don't want to get out of bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, that's
Everything
really a
too
point.
much.
That the system every morning has to fight to go out of bed.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Only when all is well, then, you know, then it's curious.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. If it doesn't seem like all is well, can't be bothered. Don't want to. And you know, there are some steps, you know, that can support the all is wellness. You know, like when you wake up, if you have a few minutes just to tune through your body, just your body, just to include the body, seeing if you can feel your feet, if you know, just that, giving the body the sense all is well. Having a hot shower if you have hot water. Oh, you know, it's luxury.
Yes.
Yeah, like feeling that water, or that, you know, just the sensations consciously on your skin. Oh, this is exactly the right temperature. Or having a nice cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is what you like to drink. And yeah, Brot mit Marmelade.
It's also, I like some things, but afterwards it doesn't feel good in the body.
It doesn't, huh?
It doesn't, no. But
what is it that doesn't feel good?
zum Beispiel Brot mit Marmelade.
Yeah, you know, I'm just using examples. You have to find everything for yourself.
Yes.
You know, that's just, okay, you can see there is an activation there, otherwise it would have understood this.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Like
that's okay.
Again?
Say again.
Would you like to try it again?
I think it's not necessary, because you know what I'm talking about. I was just using examples, you know, like whatever that is that gives the sense of okayness, you know, and I know you've heard about it, it's self-regulating. Because for whatever reason we have to do that by ourselves these days. So you kind of awareness is treating this body as kind as possible so that it can get moments of relaxation. That's called self-regulating. See, and that's what you do with, oh, maybe it likes a little stroke, or it likes a squeeze, or it likes, hey, there's a body that's mostly not included. So now we're including it. It's like, oh, hello, body, here. Yeah, exactly. That's like treating it as a baby or as a child. Oh, my little sweetheart, Meike. Yes, okay. I didn't see you there for a while. Oh, my sweet. Yeah. So that kindness. Yeah. Including knowing that's not who you are, but if it's not included, it will be very, very unhappy. Yeah. At least that's my experience. So starting with that, yeah, at first it might be kind of a bit of a stretch because we forget. And it might be a practice or something like that at first. And then at one point it will do it by itself. It's like wherever it can find beauty, or just, how it feels, that moment of, butterfly comes by. Oh, takes you into a different universe for a moment. Or there's springtime in Europe now. Maybe you see, snow.
Today.
Yeah, but there might be some beautiful. See, there might be some flowers out already. We have that. I was born in the north, and little Schneeglöckchen and Märzenbecher and Krokusse and all these beautiful flowers. Yeah. Whatever it is, but you can see how quickly your system wants to go into not liking. Yeah. You notice that, huh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And nothing wrong with that. Just noticing it and finding something that finding something, whatever it is, again and again and again. That's the job. For me too.
So natural, but actually it's not the focus in this system.
Yeah. So that's why I said, it's at first it might be a practice. It's like, oh, I forgot. How was it again? Oh yeah. Oh, sweet pie. However, you have to find your own words and your own understanding of it. Yeah. So it starts with tiny, tiny baby steps. Tiny, tiny baby steps. And then all of a sudden, running. Yeah, seeing beauty, perceiving everything as beauty. Yeah. Or perceiving everything as the miracle it is. Constantly changing, no control, so far out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you all.
Monika.
Moin, moin, Michael.
Moin, moin.
Good morning, everybody.
It's evening here already.
Oh, good evening.
Yeah, and for some afternoon.
Yes. Have a good day.
Yeah. Nothing can disturb our meeting. Huh?
Oh, it's good to hear that.
Nothing, Monika, nothing can disturb our meeting. It only seems that way.
At the moment, that's such a contraction in the belly, and
Yeah.
oh, when I'm alone, I often don't know how to deal with it because the body wants to get away from this and wants not feel this.
Yes.
Don't want to feel this.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to be very, very, very gentle with it. Letting it know it doesn't have to feel this. Let it run away, let it kick, let it do everything. Maybe for the first time. Yeah, likes hearing that.
Yes, and that, and there is this confusion. To include the body means to feel that.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Yeah, it's funny. No. It's actually, what that self-regulating is about is, that's what we're supposed to learn in our early years with, if it's, if we have the caregivers, but, our caregivers didn't get it themselves, most of them anyway. So that we learn how to regulate our systems when there's danger. So we have to run or whatever we have to do, or when it's time to relax. So that's just the simple thing. But then, there are systems, we inherited trauma. We inherited trauma and we had trauma experiences in this life. And if we have to deal with that kind of stuff by ourselves, it is absolutely overwhelming. The system doesn't know how to do it. It doesn't know how to slow down. It does not know. It's very, very difficult to do it just by yourself. Maybe if you're really advanced, but I don't know. And it doesn't matter. It's just something that is the easiest when we are together for a body. Yeah. So when it feels another system that is at ease, then all of a sudden, after a little while, that's what's happening here with us also. If my system would get all excited and upset or whatever, we would have a fight here, or we would both, whatever. We would just have the usual blah, blah thing.
Yeah.
That's a sign of two systems actually activated.
Yes, I know it very well.
Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, and then it goes in all directions. It can be calm, but it's still two activated systems. Huh? It's like, yes, but okay, and no, normal conversations. Yeah. So when we're not going in any direction, when we let it be the way it is, when we stop changing and fixing, when we just here, slowly, slowly, our systems come on the same frequency. Yeah. And that's that regulating. Then it learns, every time the system does that, it learns how to do it itself. But with these heavy traumas, Monica, I'm not telling you anything new, but it's so beautiful to speak it again. Thanks for the inspiration. Because it's so important to know we make ourselves always so wrong for how our bodies or how our systems behave and do. So you can feel already how the system is getting calmer. It's coming into resonance. If my system gets excited, it would activate your system too. I'm just very lucky to be put into this role in a way, to invite that again and again, which is, gosh, such a, wow. I'm so grateful for that. So there's nothing wrong with your body. That's firstly, very, very important. Nothing. And it doesn't disturb what we both know the best. Doesn't disturb. And it's very difficult to feel that what's going on in the belly. So, and you have heard through the somatic experiencing work, I'm sure you remember, but it's so nice to speak it again, so I will say it. You go towards the sensation, but just a tiny, 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 tiny bit. not in, not letting it take you on the roller coaster and into the overwhelm. It's more like just acknowledging. It's like, yes, I know, it's my sweet belly. I know there's something going on. And then you walk away, because that's what it wants. You're not leaving it, but you're letting it jump up and down or whatever it wants to do.
Mm.
You have to find that.
Mhm.
Yeah, like now. So we kind of, you notice we're coming a bit close, and somehow through our meeting, we also not really getting into that overwhelm. And you also can see how advanced your system is already. Because, you know, not too long ago, your system would go with that spiral downwards.
Mhm.
Just to acknowledge that too. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. Yes, it has learned already so much. And it might take a little while, you know, it's like, yeah, when we get onto our feet and all of a sudden walking has to happen, you know, and so, oh man, I didn't know that. That is the next step. I have a sweet story. It's just my grandson, Isaac's son's son. He's over a year now, and he stands and he can actually walk. Just a few steps he walked at first, but then he just doesn't want to. But then somehow he fell out of bed and hurt his wrist a little bit, and he couldn't crawl anymore. Now he's walking. Now he's walking. See, that's how it goes, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Life made it.
Life made it, yeah. That's how it works, always.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, you can feel it's pulling, it's pulling, it's pulling, and you don't have to go there. So it is, because it's very fast. You can see it's so very fast. It's kind of learning to slow it down. So you want, yeah?
Yes, Meike, did you mean it's pulling to go towards the contraction or going outside?
Both. That goes together. It's a couple.
Oh, good, thank you.
If you know, at first it's a contraction, but if the
Yeah.
contraction is so strong that it's unbearable, it
Yeah.
jumps out of its own skin. You know?
Yes, yes. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so quick so that I
Yeah.
can't make the difference.
I see that. I can see it. Yeah. It's so quick. So you can see how slowly you have to go with this.
Mm. Mm.
It's like every time, okay,
Mm.
ganz langsam, so slowly, and taking lots of breaks, because you know it seems like it's so compressed. You know, there's so much information in just a tiny, like a rock or something. It's so tight in there that when you go too fast, it's like an explosion, and that will cause another contraction.
Mm.
So you gotta go do slow movements, so gentle and tiny. I don't know, do you have any beautiful, good SE practitioners, trauma workers in Hamburg?
Yes, there are. And at the moment, please.
Yeah.
And
No, I hear. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
I have one. She's practiced only some years, and we do it online. And I don't know if I have to go to another, not change, but both in a way. Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, but that answer will come. You know, if you feel comfortable with that person, that's all that's needed, actually. That's my experience. You know, if you have any doubt, then it's not the right person. If it's comfortable, then it's
yes,
good.
Yes, it's comfortable, and you know, she makes with me ergotherapy, and she zusätzlich has this
on top of it. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Nice to know you're in good hands. And there too, you know, if you have a sense you need some other energies there, it will come. That's my experience. It's just that, you know, always it depends on where it comes from. If it comes from tension, I don't know, but you know.
Yes,
yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
And it's different now. Can you feel it?
Yeah. It's like another trying.
Yeah. So sweet. It's wonderful, Monica. I actually would leave it here.
Yeah,
If that's okay
what
with you.
yes, that's what I sense too.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It's just, yeah, otherwise it will give that, it will go into the other direction very strongly. Yeah.
I'm so grateful and so, thank you very much.
Sylvie.
Hi, Meike.
Hi.
Hi. Just wanted to shine some light on two things.
Please.
Yeah, the first of two is yesterday I was with a man who does acupuncture, and he measured my allergies in my system. That it's from a lineage from my father's side, and I could also really feel that. So just wanted to, I'm being treated for that now. So just wanted to send it some light, and yeah.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful to have the time to acknowledge everything, no? Like the ancestral, well, you know, it comes and it's just nice to name it and give it some form, because it's energetic. All is energetic in a certain way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just so your father's lineage, what they all had to go through and how it settled itself in your system. And here it gets acknowledged, maybe for the first time. Sylvie.
Yeah. It's also beautiful.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful that that is your job, in a way, to acknowledge everything that comes or shine the light on. I mean, that's the same in a way, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
Because there's no effort in fixing or changing or getting rid of. It's just, oh, yes, I see, I'm here.
There's a bit of wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, I could feel that. But something was asking me to say that, you know.
Yeah.
And that is also acknowledged, Sylvie.
Yeah.
That wanting to get rid of is part of it. So even that is acknowledged. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get rid of. Yeah. You can see the beautiful intention underneath everything. Wants you to have a good life. Wants you to be at peace. Blossom. Live in the most beautiful way.
Yeah.
Shine your light. And up until now, it thought it had to get rid of certain things to do so. How's that now?
A few moments ago, there was some sadness because of the allergies, and now it feels, yeah, free.
Let's just be with that freedom, acknowledge the freedom. Oh my God. Freedom.
Yeah, and this was also the second question, because sometimes it's so silent in my system that I almost am checking if I'm still here, that I'm so feel like nothing, and the system is then checking, am I here?
Yeah.
And there's some fear around that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, shifting.
Oh, beautiful. So acknowledgement to that. Some
Yeah.
fear around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some fear around not to exist. No?
Yeah.
So what's that? Because that's a joke, isn't it? It's like, where?
Yeah.
Thanks for laughing. I mean, I love this, the story about Ramana when he was on his deathbed, and you know, just of course people were crying and so, oh, you know, Ramana is dying, and gosh, you know, all the emotional, let's say, normal stuff was going on, and the story goes that he was saying, you know what, people are crying that I'm leaving, but where can I go?
Yeah.
Where can I go? I remember when I heard that story, oh, it just went so deep. It's like, it's true. You can run, you can fight, you can go into collapse, or, you know, whatever, all of those things, but somehow even quietness, or, you know, you're always here, isn't it? You're always, I mean, saying here, you always are. Always are. Maybe not in this kind of form that you're used to. Maybe that's I don't know if that's tricky, but.
Yeah, I also had this enlightened experience on the beach. I first saw a huge light, and then I transformed into being everything, and I wasn't me. It wasn't me anymore. I transformed into only consciousness, exploring the clouds and life, and it was so my system got so afraid of it, and I came back into my human form, really slapping on my body and feeling, oh yeah, it was shocking for my system. Yeah.
How fantastic that you know what to do, Sylvie.
Yeah.
You knew you had to do this.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it's been a very, very strong experience.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's also just an experience. I mean, from where a human being looks, experiences are very important, and experience means something, and so on and so on. But in the end, they are always changing. Can't hold on to any experience, can't make an experience happen. It's just one experience after the other. And underneath all that, you tell me what's underneath all that.
Nothing.
Yeah, and even nothing is not true, because,
Yeah.
you know, from
Yeah.
here we call, it's not empty. It's
Yeah.
not empty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not empty. It's not full. It's not this. It's not that. It's that you just can't put a name on it, isn't it? It's like it just is. Yeah. Nobody has been able to say what it is. We call it God, and maybe that's why we came up with the name God.
Existence, yeah.
Existence, yeah. Yeah.
There's now a feeling of my system likes to control also, and I know that's an illusion, but it is in the system. Yeah, wanting to hold on.
Just acknowledging.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it.
Mm-hmm.
Let it. Let it hold on. You know, otherwise it becomes a fight, isn't it? The moment there are two powers into play, you know, that which is, when that which is witnessing becomes somebody with an idea how it should be.
Yeah.
And there's a fight. And there's a fight. When there's just witnessing without an agenda, it's like, oh, this is happening. Oh, this is happening. It's just acknowledgement and letting it do its thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hands off. It's just, yeah, it's that pure witnessing that sees, wow, it saw that light and, you know, that experience that you had there. And all of a sudden it would come into the body again and messed up the whole body. But the body knew what to do. The witness without being the judge, the real witness.
Yeah.
Just witnessing. It's witnessing when it wants to control, when it's letting go, when, I mean, just everything.
And it feels so free now.
Oh, it feels so delicious over here.
Thanks.
When there's no idea put on to any experience. It doesn't mean that that shouldn't happen. You know, it's maybe fun. I don't know. You know, somehow we find ourselves doing it, but not getting confused like we had that moment there. That's not confused. Oh, then it's just free. It's witnessing everything without any interference, without anything, no hands in there.
Yeah, and that is also like a dream for me. Really, what I want to achieve, to be in that creative force, just live that in surrendering and just let it. Yeah.
Yes.
I know some guy who is singing and he's so good, and he's, when you see him and feel him sing, he is so in surrendering and no control, no, not a tiny wanting to control, and just let it. Yeah, for me that's my dream.
Yeah, it is a dream.
Yeah.
It's also just a dream.
Yeah. A dream in a dream, yeah.
A dream and a dream and a dream and a dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you are that already. You are what you are already, and you will always be that what you are.
Yeah, it's double.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. It's just so nice to come back to basics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That idea of that there's any control. Wow. And it doesn't mean that it's not playing itself like that. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's just good to be clear again and again. Somebody come in.
Yeah.
Multitasking.
Yeah. It feels so nice, Meike. Like there, it feels so open. It feels like I've a big hole in my body or something.
Mm.
Yeah.
In the belly? Or where's the hole?
Yeah, in the belly and in the legs. Just
Oh,
so open.
yeah. But they still would carry you?
Yeah, it's
Those
in a good way. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a good way.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Is your father still in his body?
No, no, my father died when I was 20.
Oh,
Yeah,
I remember you.
my
once
both
shared.
of my parents, yeah, they died very early. He was 49. Yeah.
Yeah. Just saw him, saw that lineage one more time. So
Oh, really?
blessings to that.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm. Blessings to that. Oh, sweet touch.
And it feels now like I can say sort of goodbye to the things that's played in this lineage.
Around.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. So happy to hear.
Yeah. And now I feel like it's really being reprogrammed. Yeah. Oh, shifting.
Mm. 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 So quick. Huh?
Yeah.
we are such good medicine.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Here we are, just witnessing and not, I mean, just being here,
Yeah.
just being here as much as we can and see it moving and shifting, and it gives us information when it's enough, when it wants a bit more. It's, gosh, we're just so in tune, huh? We're so
Yeah.
in sync with everything. Mhm. So, so beautiful. It's actually like the clearer that witness, that clean witness is there, the more it starts to rewire and show and starts dancing, huh? All these
Yeah.
little tight places shake themselves free. And
Yeah, it's really an energetic reprogram, like a computer. That's how I see it and feel it, and
Mm. Same.
rewiring. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Freeing itself.
Mm. From patterns that are just not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
Making new patterns.
Yeah, and that's what I'm feeling now, that really life is freeing itself and unwire and that's beautiful. Yeah.
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 It is. Yeah, it is. It's magic. It's magic.
Yeah.
It's okay like this?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Mm.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, thank you too, Sylvie.
Thank you.
And thanks for hosting. And
Yeah, you're
thanks for
welcome.
getting me in time
Online.
online.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Mm.
Oh, I just wanted to bring, it's almost impossible to find words. So much has been touched today. But very much just want to just put words on just noticing the intensity of desperation in this system. So seeing it, and when you were talking about wanting to get rid of, you know, the wanting to get rid of and the understanding that it has to be approached with such delicate reverence, they sit together, you know. And there's a frozen aspect in the system that I'm seeing, that I'm just sort of finding words for. And it's to do with the desperation of wanting to get rid of and the intensity. And it's an existential I just made some notes because I just want to verbalize it. It's an existential frozen immersion. It's like a contradiction, you know, of frozen in the immersion of existential overwhelm.
Yeah. Yes. Gosh, you're so good with words. I love how you put that into words.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole this.
Yeah.
The amount of energy that's been, amount of life force, chi, that's been focused on that wanting to live outside of that trapped beauty. And now that I say it, I can also see the incredible gifts that have come, but never been able to express and be received by this group, by you.
Did you say never been?
True. The drama of it all. Oh, there's so much sensation in the body I couldn't even begin to express. But it has shifted it from the focal habit of irritation, which has been the saboteur.
Yeah.
Unconscious saboteur. But
yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah. You see so clearly. You describe so clearly.
That acknowledgement is just like, it's like someone just stroking my forehead. It's just so precious. I know it sounds silly.
No, it doesn't. I know that in my own experience.
It's just the simplicity of someone seeing that, like you seeing it, you know. It's that's what's held the victim trapped, you know, that not
it's all alone. The trap is the sense of being all alone. Nobody sees, nobody knows, nobody minds, nobody there.
Yeah, and we haven't had a chance to meet for a while, so it's been a big build up, because this to me is it's just like food for me.
Yeah, drink. Drink then. Drink us. We are such good medicine.
It's just amazing, and not having to do anything. Like I'm doing an online sonic science course, you know, music as medicine, and I think music has actually saved my life. And because I've had noise irritations and hyperacusis and all that irritation, it's doesn't matter. I don't know what I was going to say. It's it feels like a blessing to even see a bit of it from the ancestral stuff that sits here.
Yeah.
But it's been very hard to live with physically.
Oh, of course.
Very, very, you know, I've been on the border of wanting to die so much on the other side of it, you know. But here I am, you know.
Yes, here you are. A delight.
Thanks to you and Isaac, honestly.
It's good to be good for something. So thank you. How lucky that our paths crossed, huh? How lucky.
I feel so silly right now.
Yeah.
Not me.
No.
No, not me. The ideas connected to that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See how clear you are.
Oh, I just wanted to say it. You know, I haven't been able to say it because it's been so embarrassing.
Yeah, I get it. And it doesn't disturb our connection at all. Yeah.
No.
No, it doesn't.
I'm so grateful for the way you verbalize things. It just lands and lands and lands and heals and heals.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. Look, gives me a big breath.
Because because I think I feel safe for the first time since I ran away from you. In Denmark.
I do remember. And you are so in my heart, you know. You can run. You run, but you are in my heart.
I know that now.
That's what I love, you know, that, I mean, you know, it's also an experience in a way, you know, that with whoever I have had the luck, let's say, to connect this deeply and this intimately, that cannot be destroyed. Even if you hate me or if you run away or whatever, this, you know, this underneath it all, if that has happened once, somehow my system doesn't forget that. It's really, I was like, wow, I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. So just that, you know,
because
you are just in here so deeply.
I remember.
And that's clean.
I remember when I did run away and I kept coming back, but I was like shut down, you know. I remember you sent me those beautiful pictures of the tantric goddess, you know, the Buddhist and that really touched, you know. So it's like friendships, when you test them and you reject and they're still there. I've had an interesting experience lately with a man friend who we've been exploring intimacy like this, but I'm not interested in him physically. And I've had a lover for 20 years who we have this amazing sexual journey with. So you were talking to someone a little while ago and something landed. And what I've realized is, I don't know if it was Judith you were talking to or someone in our beautiful Sangha, that thing about when you want to be so close to someone and it was Judith. When you want to be so close to someone and you're pushing them away at the same time. And that really, really opened the door of seeing in the system, you know. So it's that war inside us in a way.
And it's getting more and more soft.
Oh. Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. Oh, thank you for letting me say all this.
Thanks for sharing all this. Rich.
I'm going to let go and let others have a turn, and I'm going to sit quietly here. I'm still here. Love you. Love you.
Love you right back. Tammy.
Thank you. And I'm happy to give time to Judith too, so that she doesn't miss out.
There is enough time.
Is there enough time?
There is enough time. Yeah, because somehow we had
so confused.
You know, confused with time. Some thought it was earlier, some thought it was later, and so we just go over time. Who likes to stay, stays. Who likes to go, go.
Oh, good, because I know. Yes. Okay, so I'll try to have that part of me that will just be thinking about Judith the whole time.
Isn't it just so sweet?
Yeah, it'll just, it just it's just in love with Judith, and that's part of what I wanted to make sure I had time to share. Like, I just want to share a few things. I feel like I'm just in such good company. Yeah. Like I just feel like far out. Yeah. I came late or something, and lots of people have come whenever they've come, and I just like, like everything is like Bettina has this cuddle around her neck. I think that's like a cuddle. And then Monica speaks, and I just see like all this beauty happening, and I feel all this love and everything going on. And then Sylvie comes and teaches me so many things, and she just speaks like in her own language, like so freely. Like she's amazing teacher to me, of speaking about what's happening in her world, like it's amazing. And then things happen, and when she speaks, and things get triggered in me, and things happen in me, and I don't understand any of them, and I just didn't need to either. It was so awesome. And then a long time ago I saw Laura, and just like, I just love Laura, something loves Laura. And then in the midst of it all happening, Gay is crying, and I just am drawn to looking at her crying beautifully when someone else was doing something, And then Gaia shares, and my experience is like, she just shares everything that's run through my body this week, and she articulated it. And it's like I got to experience, because I didn't share what's happened to me this week as a person sharing what's happened to me this week. I got the gift of Gaia sharing what's happened to me this week. And I experienced in her sharing that it didn't happen to me this week, that this is not my body, that this is not, it's obviously not my body, because it ran through, you know, Gaia spoke about it. So it didn't happen to me. I just experienced how it just didn't happen to me. And that that it just feels so, I don't need to say anymore. Everyone understands what I'm talking about. It feels so beautiful to, so I wanted to share all that. And I wanted to share some other things. And the other things feel selfish, you know, like it's like I was confused about sharing, like, yeah, something feels, and it always is like this a little bit for me, where I don't feel like there's permission to say what I've been experiencing.
Oh, darling.
Like,
Oh.
because I feel everything. I experience it and I don't. If I'm making any sense. Because like, yeah. So something really shy wants to just
So something really shy would like to show itself. Do I understand that right?
yeah.
Can be here with us. It's so, so sweet. Something shy would like to be with us. Come on here. And share.
Yeah, it's like so there's a really beautiful good friend of mine that's dying right now, might not live through this night as a person. And like, because there's such a big part of me that operates somewhere where it's okay, and where her and I have said goodbye. There's such a big part of me that's okay with it, but there's this little part that's like a person. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yes, of course, it makes sense.
And I love her, and I won't experience her physically anymore.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm
Of course
sad.
that makes sense. Yes, of course. That's the most natural thing for a human being. For a living being. And man, isn't it just so sweet to shed a tear when you have to say goodbye to something dear. Blessings on her way. At the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's what's, I don't know, but there's something in me that doesn't allow like just that little bit. I don't know whether it's true.
Yeah, I also don't know. Let's have a look if it's something is breathing. Let's just see. Let's just see.
just, I guess what I'm saying is maybe it's just nice to something in this space now, because it's shared. It feels like something deep was able to be here, that when I'm just alone with myself, I don't allow the depth of that or something, if it's making sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like you know how I wanted to have a session with you, Meike, and then there wasn't that availability. Or actually I was able to be with myself, and I cried and cried and cried. But it was beautiful. It felt so beautiful. You know, cried because I love my friend Shauna, and it was just so beautiful that I had my own little session with myself, and it was great. But just that what got shared just then is so much deeper into that something in the space of this.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful.
Oh, thanks for acknowledging the field and the space.
And there's one other little one like that I want to do as well. Can I do one more?
Come on.
And
Come on
always,
out.
Yeah, come on out. Oh, okay. It always
so
feels
cute.
always feels a little bit, I don't know, it always feels a little bit selfish that I'm doing it. But it's not a small thing that I'm talking about, but it's just like, I don't know whether it's just I think I have to be okay with everything that's happening in the world. I mean, you know. Anyway, I'll just do it. So you probably don't know, like, because I don't like to tell people, but this space, I feel that you're all okay. So I keep lots of things hidden, and I just deal with them on my own. Yeah.
You want to just know how many of us do that in their lives? Let's just have a look in the gallery. How many of us? I'm curious too. How many of us do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's us. So okay, I'll come back. Did you see?
It's just, I did. And there's a few people that didn't put their hands up, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they're
still
shy.
could.
Maybe they're shy.
Maybe they forgot to put their hand up.
Yes, they forgot. Or they didn't understand what you have been talking about or something.
Oh, the Esther guys didn't get the question in the chat. That's funny.
Yes. See, there you go.
And the other
really...
two got their cameras off. Oh, so funny. Oh.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like
but what I do like to say is that is actually only happening when we, as a system human being, or whatever we want to, thought form, whatever we want to call this, when we live as a separate being. Because you can see the moment we come into a true or real community, where we clearly see that we're all in the same boat, then we can share that. And then we see, you know, the moment it goes into separation, however it does it, then it starts hiding. Or, you know, it does things from the sense of being separate. And you can see, you know, that's why you can share. Here you can share because you sense the union of our field. It's
There's still a fear. My fear is I might upset somebody or hurt somebody, or I'd never want to do that. So I'd rather that's the justification.
Separate being. That's the separate being. That's always the separate being. Because you witness it now, and because we are in union, you can share it. Because it's not separate right now. Otherwise you wouldn't. Something in you knows that whatever that is that would love to come into union can share it here.
And then it gets so like it, and straight away so much comes up when it goes to share. Like it's saying, oh, you shouldn't worry about that, or you're doing this and doing that, and you're trying to get
multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one being, because it has never been shared, you know, and then it does that. Then it does puts things somewhere and has all these other beings there that judge and sabotage and, oh, you know, just the whole thing. The moment it comes into union, it sees it actually all very, very clearly, and one by one comes to peace. And that for the rest of our lives, obviously. I mean, you know, who knows, but it seems that way.
So it's probably very simple what I want to share, but
come.
Yeah, so I don't know. All it is, oh, it's not all, but it's just like so like not the December before the last December, my aunt and uncle were murdered. And next week there's like an inquest into the murder. So I've just been really like feeling all funny things. I just feel all funny energies and things, and I think what mostly happens, I think I'm all right, so I don't let myself feel things. I don't know.
It's just the habit in all of us to make sensations and feelings mean something. And that's, again, you know, mostly puts us into a space of being a separate being. Oh, that is devastating for each one. The moment it feels separate, it's hell. It's hell. Having to feel sensations with meanings on top, just all alone. It freaks us out. Yeah, freaks us out. The moment we're there all together, you see it starts breathing. Oh, it's like, oh my God. You know, we can't change sensations. They might still come and do, but at least we hang in each other's arms. You know, it's like, it's always someone there that gives you a soup, or someone there that strokes your head, or just there. Yeah. Those are intense stories. I mean, that's you may say whatever you want to, but that's intense, having your aunt and uncle murdered. I mean, far out. It's intense. I mean, it's very, very intense. And having to deal with that in the normal world as a separate being is terrifying. So how good that we are there, you know? How good. So that it's not been held all alone again by one separate being, but in our circle, in our community, in our sangha, our family, us.
Yeah, it feels good to hear that it's terrifying. feels good to, like, it sort of feels like, you know, I sort of feel like I'd like to feel terrified, you know.
Yeah, but
You
not
know.
alone.
Yeah.
No, it's not good. Nah, it's not good.
Not alone, no. I haven't been feeling
No.
terrified alone.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, I haven't. Not for a long time, actually.
Yeah. We are not meant to feel stuff like that by ourselves. It doesn't do us good.
Good idea.
Never.
Yeah, yeah.
If stuff like that comes, then we got to be together.
Yeah, yeah. But just that moment then when you just spoke to it, and it just felt permission.
Yeah.
To exist.
Yeah.
It didn't have to
Exactly.
present itself, or, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely, because it came
Prove.
into union.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
that's our invitation. That's the invitation of our field. Yeah. The simplicity of union, actually. That's the invitation of our field, of our Sangha. That's our mission. Each one of us in exactly their place.
Yeah.
Exactly the way they are.
I really feel that tonight. I feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even like Martina's turned up and she's put a camera on, and that beautiful circle thing happening in the background supports me right now too. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So grateful.
Yeah.
I feel like right now, like just like such beauty mixed with everything. Everything. Mixed with everything I spoke about. I mean, you know all this. I remember.
No, but it's so nice
I remember.
to hear it.
I remember.
Yes.
You know all this. I mean, I shared. I mean, not that everyone needs to know, but that I shared you. I came to you after it. Yeah. Anyway. So grateful for everyone being here. Thank you, everybody. I love you, Meike. Nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you too, and I love you back.
Okay, everyone. Good to see everyone. I'm ready to go to Judith. Thank you. Mwah.
I need to ask Sylvia. Sylvia, is it okay for you to stay a little longer?
Yes, no problem.
Far out.
Yeah,
cool,
thank
because
you.
you're hosting,
Yeah, it's okay.
It's funny. Yeah. Okay, so then everyone is free. Yeah, thanks. Otherwise we could have, then you have to give me the hosting job. But because the times were just so messed up. Anyway, cool. Judith.
Hey, Meike. Hi.
Hey.
I'm glad I made it, because a half hour before the meeting, I discovered that I didn't have a link and that I hadn't paid yet. So I said, oh my God. So I wrote Eva very quickly, and then a bit after 10, I still hadn't the link, and then I started to write you. So you will find a mail that I probably could not make it, but I did, and I'm very happy to be here. Yeah,
fantastic.
It is so touching. The sharings are so deep and touching and beautiful. And yeah, it's just an honor to be here. It's just so beautiful. Yeah. So I just like to meet and see what comes up.
sweet and warm, soft and gentle, present. At home.
I feel so honored. So honored to be here.
I so understand, me too.
So touching.
How lucky to know that it's possible to live like this. To live like this.
It's all I wish for.
Beginning.
This is all I wish for. Oh. Yeah.
Let
The
that be our
biggest
prayer.
Yeah.
And here
biggest,
it is. Here it is fulfilled.
Here it is. In this moment.
In this moment. Yeah.
And that's so touching. To know this. So touching.
Nourishing and also just getting a sense of this is actually natural, huh? This is actually how it should be, or if it should be anyway, then like this. Was a mozzie trying to kiss me.
It brings tears of joy. So it's like that. That it is possible. That it really is possible. Did you catch it? You got it.
One bite less tonight.
Yeah. And it also comes so clear to me that we really, it's a time of needing each other to do this, to really connect together.
Like this.
Like this, like this.
Yeah.
Like this.
You know, or even evolving out of this. This is just the beginning. Because the other kind of coming together just didn't really work, huh?
No. Not satisfying.
No, it's not satisfying. Living as a separate being is not satisfying whatsoever. It's just the opposite, actually. It's hell.
Yeah, this hell.
Yeah, may all beings have this, experience this.
Yeah.
May all beings be at peace.
Yeah, most important prayer. And holding everyone who doesn't know this yet.
And inviting everyone that wants to be here in this, one by one, in.
Yeah, that image was of holding the whole.
Yeah.
Just holding the whole.
One by one.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for being here. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Precious beings we are. Thank you all, beautiful beings. Mm. Oh, and for those that come to the retreat on Wednesday, so we start Byron Bay time, 4 o'clock. That would be Western Australian time, 2 o'clock. And I think for England, it is 7 o'clock in the morning. And I think for Europe, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. For the rest, yeah, it's true, huh? Am I right? Yes, it's fantastic. I figured it all out. And here it is 6 o'clock. Oh, 4
o'clock.
Thanks. Yes, 4, yeah. Because we have the time change this Sunday, this weekend, tomorrow. Love and peace, beloveds. Thank you, thank you, thank you.